and welcome to our video demonstration of synastry charts and aspects to determine relationship compatibility. A natal chart is a snapshot of the sky at the moment of your birth. It shows where all the planets were in the sky as you entered the world. The 12 constellations used to comprise this tropical astrology system form a ring around the Earth from our point of view. Because of that, a natal chart recreates the ring shape, and that ring is divided into 12 sections that each of the 12 zodiac signs cycle through. The 12 zodiac constellations and the 12 houses do not move together through the sky. The houses are a stagnant division of the sky, used for mapping it and creating different charts, such as the natal chart. The zodiac constellations are constantly cycling through the different houses from our perspective dependent on the rotation of the Earth. Each house holds a significance beyond mapping and has its own meaning, just as the zodiac signs do. But the houses relate to the larger themes of life rather than the themes of our personality the way the signs do. There are certain variables that shift the placement of the constellations in the sky in relation to where you were born: the season, the time of day, the rotation of the Earth, your location on the Earth, etc. In one rotation of the Earth, all 12 zodiac signs pass above the horizon and make a complete loop. In a natal chart, the far left point of the circle is considered the eastern horizon, where the sun rises. The far right point of the circle is considered the western horizon, where the sun sets. The highest point would be considered straight above your head into the sky, and the lowest point considered straight below you into the ground. It gives you an idea of what is below and what is above the horizon at your time of birth. The first house starts just below the eastern horizon and counts upwards through the 12 houses in a counterclockwise direction, with the 12th house ending at the top of the eastern horizon. An easy example of this: if you were born during the day, your sun was above the horizon and therefore would be in the top half of your natal chart in houses 7 through 12. If you were born during the night, the sun would be below the horizon, and therefore you would find the sun somewhere in the bottom half of your natal chart in houses 1 through 6. The natal chart therefore shows you which planets were above and below the horizon at your time of birth, which signs each planet was in, as well as which house each planet was in. When looking at a natal chart, there are a few pieces of information that can be easily picked out. The zodiac sign that is rising above the eastern horizon or the far left point in your chart is your ascendant sign. The sun sign, moon sign, and ascendant sign comprise the 3 large factors of a person's personality. The sun and moon are generally easy to spot on a chart, and the ascendant is easy to find as well now that you know where to look for it. You must know your time of birth to get an accurate ascendant sign, but without a time of birth, everything else in your natal chart will still remain accurate, so don't worry if you don't have it. Beyond that, the chart will show the placement of your planets as well as what house and sign each is in. From there, you will have the chart data of the 2 people that you want to check the compatibility of. You can overlay the charts or use a synastry chart generator and discover the beneficial and harmful aspects you two share. Here is the synastry chart, or the combination of the 2 individual charts we previously showed you. Let's dive in and start to break down some of the major aspects present in this synastry chart. Aspect 1. Person 1's Venus is in conjunction with Person 2's ascendant sign. This is a positive aspect that indicates that Person 1 likes the way Person 2 presents themselves through personality and appearance, and they feel that Person 2 embodies a lot of their ideals. If looking at romantic compatibility, this would indicate that Person 1 has a strong physical attraction to Person 2. These people are likely to share common interests in this aspect. Aspect number 2. Person 1's Mercury is in trine with Person 2's Venus. This is another beneficial aspect. Venus is the planet of love, and Mercury is the planet of communication. So a beneficial aspect between Venus and Mercury indicates that good communication between the 2 will help keep the relationship and the love alive. A trine aspect is a harmonious one. Communication would be the love language in this pairing. The 2 will understand each other well and interact warmly with each other. Aspect number 3. Person 1 and Person 2's ascendant signs are in conjunction. This is a very beneficial and harmonious aspect generally. These two people will have a lot in common, have similar tastes, and present themselves similarly. They will feel a quick connection because of how similar they are, and will relate to each other tremendously. One possible downside is that because you share so much in common, you may not push each other to change or try new things, which could become boring or stagnant. Also, by sharing so much in common, you will become mirrors to each other, making your own issues glaringly apparent, which could trigger many fights. But so long as you recognize these potential issues and see each other as mirrors, and remain self-accountable, and aim continuously ever towards self-growth, these issues will end up boosting you even further rather than holding you back. Aspect number 4. Person 1's Venus squares Person 2's Mars. This is a passionate but challenging aspect, and it mostly pertains to romantic connections. This is a very centrally passionate connection, but not always an emotionally loving one. The connection would be magnetic and very fiery, but one or both people may be neglected or devalued as a result. This could look like one person being too dominant and the other too submissive, which could easily turn toxic without other beneficial and loving aspects present in the Synastry chart, as well as good and clear communication. Aspect number 5. Person 1's Venus is in opposition to Person 2's Venus. This aspect generally does not bode well if looking at romantic compatibility. Venus is the planet that represents love, and in this chart, both Venuses are at odds with each other. This could be two people with different desires, clashing love languages, or who want different things. However, the age-old phrase persists: opposites do attract. This aspect can be beneficial if you two are willing to meet each other in the middle and compromise. Aspect number 6. Person 1's Neptune squares Person 2's Mars. Neptune is a very dreamy energy and can represent a person's fantasies. This aspect could indicate that Person 1 is projecting their fantasy onto Person 2 rather than seeing them as they really are. Mars is representing Person 2's actions in this aspect. This aspect can cause a lot of bickering and conflict because Person 1 may constantly be confused by Person 2's actions, but only because their fantasies are a delusion or distortion of the truth. This could look like Person 1 feeling heartbroken or let down often, and Person 2 feeling unseen or nagged, neither understanding what the issue is. Knowledge is power though, so this aspect can become a lesson of the past that no longer harms the connection once this dynamic is realized and seen. Aspect number 7. Person 1's Neptune is in opposition to Person 2's Moon. Again, Person 1 has another challenging Neptune aspect in this Synastry chart. This aspect indicates that Person 1's fantasies may be directly undermining Person 2's emotions and feelings. The Moon represents Person 2's inner world, inner self, and feelings. Person 2 may not feel truly seen or safe to be their true selves around Person 1, because Person 1 is only seeing what they want to see and missing the rest. This aspect could lead to Person 2 leaving the relationship because they feel neglected or misunderstood, while Person 1 may have no clue what they're even talking about. Person 1 should be careful to distinguish fantasy from reality to not break their own heart as well as the heart of their partner. Aspect number 8. Person 1's Mars is in a trine with Person 2's Sun. If looking at romantic compatibility, this is a great aspect in a happy marriage. Whether platonic or romantic, Mars and the Sun in a beneficial aspect shows common aspirations as well as common goals and motivations in a connection, and these two people would constantly support and inspire each other. These two would be the power couple who can take on anything together, a very happy aspect. Aspect number 9. Person 1's Moon is sextile to Person 2's Sun. This is a very cheerful aspect as well, and suggests good cooperation, honest communication, and balance in the connection. Person 2 is comfortable leading, and this allows Person 1 to be comfortable in a more supportive and nurturing role. This aspect alone balances out the two challenging aspects we spoke of before. Even though their two Venuses oppose each other, this aspect confirms that opposites do indeed attract, and that this type of opposition will ultimately be beneficial for their growth. And where Person 1's Venus squaring Person 2's Mars could have led Person 1 to be too submissive, and person 2 to be too dominant in a toxic way, this aspect instead shows that these two people are likely happy in their subjective roles. Aspect number 10. Person 1's moon forms a sextile aspect with person 2's Mercury, and person 2's moon forms a trine with person 1's Mercury. This beneficial aspect going both ways shows that both people in the connection feel safe and able to express their emotions clearly and easily. The moon represents emotions and Mercury represents logic, so this aspect signifies that these two people would have very balanced conversations. They are a firm foundation for the other, a shoulder to lean on, and an ear that will listen. This aspect will help them to always be their true selves around each other and to gain confidence in expressing it. So there we have it. That is an example of synastry charts and using them to determine and evaluate the compatibility of two people. Incompatible aspects don't make a couple incompatible. It just shows where growth is necessary to make things more easygoing. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.
Thank you for watching this PsychicSource video presentation. If you have any questions about astrology, or would like to have a synastry chart of you and a loved one created and analyzed, please contact Akasha or any one of our gifted advisors at www.psychicsource.com.